Hi, my name's Dave Richardson. I'm the Managing Director of SLT Tours. We're a group travel agency specialising in educational and also sports tourism, both into the UK and outbound. So for any customer payments that we were looking at, we had an invoicing system where if I were dealing with a customer, I had to request an invoice from our finance team. Our finance team sent the invoice out. The finance team then chased the invoice up for payment. What was quite difficult was, as an account manager, I was having to communicate with our finance team a lot to find out when it had been paid. So there's quite a lot of steps and a lot of people involved in it. So we wanted a system which made it a lot easier for customers to pay, to make it easier for the customer ultimately, but also so we can have more control over it and we can see what's going on rather than keep having to ask the questions all the time. So working with Collective, how that changes the process is that rather than having to send the invoice and go through several different steps, we can directly send our customer a link to their account, which if they pay money into it at one click, we can then get notified as soon as they've paid, and we can, on our dashboard, we can see exactly who's paid, what people owe, when they've paid it. And it just allows that customer to actually have a bit more ownership of their finances rather than requesting invoices from us, asking how much is on the next invoice. Simply by clicking the link, we can put all their information on the account, which is probably one of the big things which we've developed with Collective over the last few months, is that the message we can send to the customer via the link. So no longer is it just a request for payment. We can put our logo on it, we can put any pictures we want on it, and we can also put all information on it as well, so the customer can have it all there. Time-wise, that saves us, I don't know the actual stats, but probably saves us 3 to 5 interactions per payment, which obviously saves a lot of time and a lot of effort, because all the information that they usually come back and ask us is actually already on that link, which we can just update. So we're always looking at ways to do that, and we're looking at potential barriers where stress might occur for them. And speaking to group organisers, one of them things was quite obviously is collecting money in. Oh, it's like, I've got to collect this money in. And many conversations we had were, oh yeah, I'll pay me invoice. I'm just waiting for 5 or 6 more payments. So if we can find any solution to help the customer collect the money in, that's going to make our business more attractive to them, because it makes it less stressful to arrange a group trip. If you're arranging a holiday for you and your family with 3 or 4 people on it, it is stressful sometimes and hard work. This group organizer, say a teacher or a football coach, they're arranging it for maybe 30, 40, 50 people. So it's quite stressful. So if we can actually help them at all, that's kind of the reason, that's kind of the rationale behind why we first looked at Collective, because we thought it can make it easy for our group organizer. The actual knock-on effects of that, it's actually made it easier for us as well. But originally, that wasn't something really we were interested in. It was all about making it easy for the customer. Me as an account manager, I'm dealing with customers on a day-to-day basis, and quite honestly not wanting to get too involved with the financial matters and all the software packages we've got for finance and the accountants. I don't really want to get involved with that. It's allowed me access to what I need to know financially without digging too deep into it. So I can go onto my Collective dashboard, I can look at what groups have got links ready to pay, I can look at what money's in, I can see real time that money's come in. And one of the big advantages of me, which were the first group that used it, was a football team collecting money in. The group organizer sent the link out to all these people, all these players, to collect the money in. I could then quite have an educated conversation with him to say, oh, you've got 15 payments in so far, going really well this week. I know you've seen him this weekend. Why don't you give him a bit of a push to get the money in? Where previously it would have been completely back to front of that. I'd have been going to him and saying, how many payments have you got? And maybe 2 months down the line, if he's only got 6 payments, I know that trip's probably not going to run. But now I can see that, and it kind of it guides me on my conversations with them, and actually gives me a really good touch point with the customer to say, oh, you're nearly there now, you only need 3 more payments, where previously I'd have never known that.
Yeah.
I think one of my big jobs was often in charge of sales, really, keeping an eye on all the sales and what's going on. So by using Collective, I felt like I've had more of a grip of all that, because I can quite clearly see what groups have paid, what groups have still got outstanding links, what they've not paid for yet. So it allows me to have a more holistic view of the business and the view of where things are. And similarly, if we've not got many links out at the moment, right, we need to get that sales engine going again and start getting more links out for people to pay. If we've got a lot of outstanding ones, it gives me a bit of guidance to, right, we need to spend some time chasing these customers up. And it kind of complements our CRM system really, about that customer follow-up is kind of supported by, yeah, well, this is where they are on the CRM system, but actually as well, I can see on Collective that they've got 38 out of 40 payments in. So I think one of the big things, it informs me of where we are as a business point of view, which, like I said, was not the initial reason for starting with Collective. It was purely to make it easy for the customer, but it's been a nice impact of that. So the main thing regarding the return on investment is those groups that might not. So you've got a group organizer, one person often, a football coach, teacher. I keep saying they're the two main people we deal with. But what we wouldn't want to do is lose a customer because they didn't have time to collect the money in. So return on investment wise, there's at least one group in the last couple of months who I know has signed up for the tour, they've paid the deposit, where without Collective, they wouldn't have done that. So return on investment wise, there's a real tangible example there and it was purely because he could send the link out from Collective to all his people and say, look, if you want to come on this trip, get it paid. His other alternative was on a Saturday and Sunday morning when he saw his group and he saw the parents would be asking for money, sometimes cash, sometimes checks, trying to get all that in. Oh, I forgot about that. I've not got it. I'll bring it next week. So we've taken out all that. Again, it's that risk of them not going on the trip that sends a link out. They can pay for it whenever they want and they've got that money. And so return on investment wise, we're losing less business from people who have not got the time to collect the money in. Time wise as well, there's less administrative work for us to do in those phases of organising the trip, because we don't need to go back and forth to finance sending invoices. It's just a link or a text message, a WhatsApp message, text message that's going out with the payment information. So as a return on investment, I can tell you we've got a financial return on investment, but also we've saved a lot of time as well. The biggest value we get, which if we didn't get it, we wouldn't use it, quite simply, is making the experience better for our customers. Can't stress enough how competitive our industry is. And if we can make our business 1% more customer friendly, it is worth it to us. So by our customers being able to collect money in and take the stress away from it, from them collecting money in, that is our biggest reason for it. And if at any point our customers were not benefiting from using it, we'd have to review it, obviously, because although it does help us out, that wouldn't be enough reason, I don't think, to actually use it, because ultimately we're a business that's seeking sales, we're seeking new business all the time, and we're always looking for ways to actually get that new business, and we direct our efforts into any way to get new business. The biggest thing for me would be, it's like having a financial company on your side. And I think in any business, especially during pandemic years, for a travel company, especially working in education, so we've been hit on both sides. If you've got any support, you should take any support in business, no matter how high up the business chain you think you are. I think any support's good support. And I think that if you're thinking about saving time within your business, if you're thinking about improving your customer experience, I think that a 30-minute video call to see how Collective can do that for you is a very little price to pay, because at the end of that 30 minutes, I think if Collective can't help you, they will tell you they can't help you, but wish you all the best. But after that 30 minutes, I'd be pretty confident that if you're in a business that involves collecting money in, especially for group payments, they will be able to help you and they'll be able to tailor something for you. And so you've got nothing to lose, really. And you'll have that support ongoing.